If it keeps raining outside like it have been for however many days now,
a couple weeks,
this car is the perfect car for it because we're going to be underwater.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, we're going to come back and we're going to tell you about this car, but if you notice down below, there's props down there. So it's kind of a cool car, an oddball car. You think Tesla should make an amphibian car?
I think they should.
You go out and
this is another one of those cars I would call a bucket list car. Like, I have never worked on one of these cars before, and after I'm done with this one, I'll probably never
see
on
it
one
again. Yeah, I've only seen them in pictures. I've never actually been up touch.
It's a 1964 Amphicar. That's one word, Amphicar.
Okay, so enough of me squawking about the car and the rain, and it kind of leads into this because rain, water spots, acid rain, all that other stuff falling on your car, you're going to show us on how to fix it. So before he gets into that, like I always say, if you can, like, share, and subscribe, so that way it helps these guys out a little bit more going up that algorithm. And also, today's the day that's going to be fun at the end, because we're not doing a question and answer. Well, we might do a small question and answer after the fun thing is, but we're announcing the SEMA raffle winners. So I mean, there's one prize in there for like $3,000.
$3,000 prize, yeah.
I mean, come on, if you didn't get in on this raffle, I mean, you obviously were sleeping or you just didn't go to SEMA, one of the two.
Well, we were both at SEMA. It was very busy, and one of the things I did while I was there was encourage everybody to sign up for that raffle, so you had your chance, because today is the prize drawing.
Hey, you never know. You might want to jump onto their newsletter email list. They might have other raffles later on down the road, so get in while the getting's good. All right, so with that being said, I see you got rotaries.
Yes.
Same rotary, 2 different sizes, and a whole bunch of product and everything like that, and water.
Yep.
Can I test it? Make sure that it's on? No. All right, I'm going to go back over here. So you get ready to tell us how to get rid of water spots.
Waterproof. How's that sound?
All right, yeah, let's see if it's waterproof.
So, so one of the topics that we want to talk about is water spots and what I call drizzle stains. And before we get started with that, I just want to say my background. I grew up and spent most of my life in Oregon. And anybody that knows anything about Oregon knows that one of the characteristics for Oregon is it rains a lot. And when I started detailing cars, one of the things I immediately found out was when a customer brings you a daily driver car, chances are really good there were going to be water spots on the paint and also the glass. And here's the thing, you cannot detail the car and make the paint look amazing, give it back to the customer with water spots on the glass. So I learned right away that a part of any detail I did, especially for a daily driver, included polishing the glass. Now this would be topical glass polishing, not subsurface. We got a video up there in our live collection that goes over taking wiper marks out of a '87 Silverado that was actually very popular.
So why don't you, just for those that don't know what topical and subsurface is.
So subsurface glass polishing is when you're taking scratches, tiny pits, wiper marks, swirls are actually in glass. So they're subsurface. So you're polishing using a rayon pad, which I have 2 up here. Here's a 5-inch and a 3-inch, and these are very thin and hard, and you're using a specific glass polish that's designed to abrade the glass and remove scratches out of the glass.
So you're actually leveling the glass surface when below surface.
Yes.
All right, and now topical is?
Topicals, you're just taking the stuff that builds up on the surface of the glass. And so this goes back to my experience in Oregon. So when someone brings you a car, usually it's going to have water spots, plus all the other things, swirls, scratches, oxidation, but it's going to have water spots on the paint. It's going to have them on the glass. And you can't make the paint look amazing and then give somebody back this car that just has water spots over the glass. So one of the things I learned right away was you can do topical glass polishing after you detail the car or as a part of detailing the car. But in order to work smarter instead of harder, I found it was a lot quicker and faster and more efficient to do all the glass polishing before I actually washed the car. Now, the reason why is because you can polish the glass and then come back with the towel and wipe off the residue. But what I did was I would clean the glass so it's not dirty, machine polish the glass, then wash the car, and as I wash the car, take my wash mitt and wash that residue off. And this did a couple things. It saved on towels, it saved on time, and also a lot of cars, like this one has a rubber gasket that goes around the window. Some of the older cars have a fuzzy fiber gasket. And when you're machine polishing, you will throw splatter into these areas. And so if you do this after you wash the car, you got to come back with a toothbrush and clean it out. If you do it before you wash the car, you can loosen it up with your soapy car wash soap, your wash mitt, and of course rinse it. So you can actually be much more efficient with the process and with your time by doing topical glass polishing before washing the car. Now, we just finished a 3-day class. In fact, there's 2 cars here that still have to be picked up with the owners. This 3-day class, my class detailed 6 cars and 1 boat, and one of the cars included hand dry sanding, machine dry sanding. That was a 65 Ford Galaxy. But as a part of the 6 cars, we did two cars that we did extreme prep wash, and in those extreme prep washes, of course, we machine topical glass polished the windows on those cars. So I taught that in the class, I practice it, and I've actually got a class coming up at Mobile Tech Expo on Wednesday that is how to detail a car, and it'll include everything that I teach in our big 3-day classes. So if you're going to Mobile Tech Expo, that's on a Wednesday, make sure you get signed up for that class.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's the difference between topical and subsurface. What we're going to do is topical today. Now, this is a daily driver, and as Yancey said, it's raining. Here in Florida, it rains a lot. So I want to talk about a topic called traffic film or road film. And Victor, this would be your cue to bring up those pictures.
I got it.
So,
or Victor, you do it.
So daily drivers, they get a buildup of what's called traffic film in the UK. We call it road film over here. And where this comes from is a lot of times as cars get older, they will drip fluid. So transmission fluid, motor oil, radiator fluid, hopefully not brake fluid, power steering pump fluid, and they'll drip those where the cars are parked, okay? But also on a dry day when you're driving down the road, you'll usually see that the middle of the road is darker. So those same cars that drip oils in a parking space drip it down the center of the highway as you're driving down it. And then when it rains, all the cars in front of you, the water mixes with that oily, dirty mess on the highways, and it throws it up on your car. And over time, you get a buildup of impacted road film or traffic film, not only on your paint, but on your glass. And that's why it's important, if you're a professional detailer or an enthusiast, to periodically perform topical glass polishing and remove this film. And another thing that's real important is now there are a lot of glass coatings, okay? So glass coatings are great. They create a hydrophobic surface. They make the water just fly off your windows after about 30 miles an hour. And so they make it safer, but they also keep your glass cleaner longer by preventing the buildup of road film. So I've got the Dr. Beasley's up here, and I'll demonstrate how to apply those. But it's really important to really clean the glass before you put the coating on. You know, the whole idea that we do the paint correction before we put a ceramic coating on the paint is to get that paint down to bare, naked paint, just pure paint. Well, same thing for glass. You want to get that down to bare glass in order for the coating to make a proper bond so it can perform as well as it's designed to perform.
Makes sense to me.
Okay, so I've done a couple things over here. I'm going to demonstrate on the windshield because that's obviously the most important window on a car because you see through it. But what I've already done here is this car has road film. So Nancy, let's first see if you can just capture this. A lot of times, and you pro detailers know what I'm talking about, when you're wiping glass, for that brief moment when you've got a film over there, you can actually see the film, the road film on the glass. I call these drizzle stains. It's the pattern that the rain leaves as it drizzles or drips down the window. And it just builds up over time on all the glass, the windshield, the side glass, and you can see it pretty easily there. That's called drizzle stains or water spots. So over here, I've already machine polished this side. I haven't machine polished this side, so let me show you with water, because this is a very visual tool to show what polished glass looks like versus unpolished glass. Now this side here's probably got bead hero, so it's kind of cleaning off. But over here, look that's a solid sheet. It's because there's nothing on there. If you look closely, it's hard to get next to the trim with your spinning pad. So that's really the hardest place to get. But this general window area has completely been machine polished. It's clean and free. There's no water spots, no drizzle stains, no road film, no traffic film. There's nothing on it. It's bare, naked glass. Now let me show you another little demonstration that's kind of powerful. And for topical glass polishing, you don't need a rayon pad. You can use a foam pad or a fiber pad. So I've got a fiber pad here, but let me just show you something. I'm going to put 3 little drops here of the Dr. Beasley's GL glass polish, and this can be used both for subsurface and topical glass polishing. And if you look over here, I'm going to get this wet just to show you. This, I haven't touched this yet, okay? So
do it again.
It's full of water spots and drizzle stains.
And you can.
And this side of the car actually gets hit by the sprinkler once in a while. And here in Florida, we have really hard water. And whenever you hear that term hard water, what that really means is minerals that are dissolved in the water. That's what the hard part is. It's actually the minerals. So let me dry off this excess water here. And now I'm just going to polish here just right in the center. And we'll do this water test again. Let me wipe this off.
You can already see what's happening.
A little more. Okay, now let's go and throw some water on there. And this just, because it's, the thing is the reason I like to show this test is because sometimes it's really hard to see the film on the car until you do the polishing step. There you go. You can see this one section. I've polished most of the water spots off. I need to hit that a little bit more. Well, let's go up here and do the windshield, and this is going to drive home the point of why you want to polish the glass, especially if you're going to be putting on a coating. I'm going to pass this around.
I can already see your little thing right there in the middle.
Yeah. So I've been playing with this car all day long.
All right, don't trip the cameraman with the hose.
No doubt. Okay.
All right, same product.
Same product.
Go ahead and flip that around and show.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm going to put a tape line down. I'm just going to work on one side of the tape line.
And obviously the tape line is just for demonstration, show you before and after.
That's all, yeah.
You don't need to do a tape line when you're doing your windows.
No.
Now, how hard are you pushing, speed, all the goods?
I'm framing out the glass now. I'm just kind of spreading this out. And now I'm going to bring the speed up. I'm on the 3 setting.
So not high speed.
You don't need high speed. You create a lot of heat that way.
Then how hard are you pushing?
I would say there's the weight of the tool. There's about 5 pounds of pressure.
Okay. So you're not wrenching down on it?
No, I'm not cranking down on it at all. So basically letting the product do the work. And then of course, just like paint correction, overlapping passes in a crosshatch pattern.
And how many section passes do you do?
I like to stick for this type of demonstration. I want to make sure we nail it. So I'm going to do 8. I think, is this 3? After spreading it out, we'll call that 3. And look how this product doesn't get dusty or dry up on you.
That's lovely. Thanks, Jim, for doing that. Nothing worse than detailing a car and cleaning up the dust from everywhere that the dust went. And this, you're actually keeping it flat?
Oh yeah, holding it completely flat.
So you're not going
5,
up on edge?
So this is 6. Yeah, in my classes I teach for using a wool pad. Thanks for bringing that up. Like we sanded down and buffed out a boat. And there's no way to hold a wool pad flat on the side of a boat. And I, of course, let all the students try. Nobody can do it. and it's just because the pad will yank you around. I think this is that 6 or 7.
We'll go 7.
7. Here's 8. And for the same dynamics that are in play when you're polishing out the side of a hull, those same dynamics take place when you're buffing out a car. It's really hard to hold a pad flat with the rotary buffer on paint, because what happens is one part of the pad will yank and then another part will yank, and the whole time you're spending all this time trying to keep this pad flat, and it's yanking you all over the place.
Using unneeded muscles.
Yeah, what's easier is just to go up on edge, and then you have an easy way to control the pad. That's what's easy. So I'm always happy for people to have their own opinion on how to do that, but all you got to do is buff out a boat, and you'll figure this out right away.
And that came off nice and easy.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just do the water test now.
All right. Oh, you didn't take
So
the tape off.
untreated, polished. And this had bead here, so you can see there's some water beading here, but this is just completely flat. So anything that was on there, road film, water spots, drizzle stains, I've completely removed. And now it would be ready to apply a glass ceramic coating.
Now, could somebody clay their window and get the same results?
No. That's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of times I like to use a clay mitt or a clay towel, detailing clay, and use that during the extreme prep wash. Go ahead and mechanically decontaminate that paint while you're out doing the wash. And of course, you can do that also for.
Oh wow, you can definitely see.
Yeah,
and
right there's I did a circle right there, so.
That's showing you how to.
And now this is clean and ready to put a ceramic coating on. So, but back to what was your question?
Claying the window.
Here's the thing about claying. Claying's going to, of course, remove anything that's topical, but the type of film that you get build up usually happens over time. And that film, the only way to really get it off is to mechanically polish it off. You could do this by hand, okay?
But why would
But if you already got a machine, you might as well just let the machine do the work.
Do it faster and easier and better.
And that is kind of the demonstration. It's just kind of a short
I thought
one.
you were going to show how
Talking
to
about
coat.
road film.
Are you going to do the coating or no?
Oh, I can. This has to wait. This has to cure for 24 hours.
Which window do you want to finish your side window here? Then we can do the.
I'll just show the technique for applying a coating.
Okay.
Basically, it's the same application as putting a ceramic coating on paint. You use a crosshatch section.
Now, show me the bottles.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so this starts with the glass coating prep, and then there's the actual glass serum, the glass coating. And we've already machine polished this, so it's completely clean. But to just use the products as they were intended to be used, let me go ahead and use the prep.
So the prep is going to remove any oils.
Yeah, anything left over. Normally what I do is I do this glass polishing step when I do the wet wash, when I'm washing a car. So I would be using a soapy wash mitt to wash all this residue off. So when I brought the car back in, there wouldn't be anything on there. So we'll go ahead and apply this or wipe this off. This just ensures the glass is clean. And Yancey, come over here if you can. Just feel this compared to that. Feel how smooth that is.
And
feel
holding
that
camera.
Smooth, and you can feel kind of a roughness.
Yeah,
where
this
I have it
is
polished.
smooth.
It is.
As soon as I get there, I feel my hand start sliding.
Starts to drag.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so, and this car has not been detailed for at least a year. Okay, so then the glass serum.
I have to talk to the owner about that.
Yeah, and this is called his airport car. He doesn't care that much about it. He loves it because it doesn't break down. So just basically apply some like you would paint
I was
coating.
over here.
Yep, so I just applied a few drops. Usually when these are dry, I start out with a little more. After that, you can cut down to just a few drops. And then basically just a crosshatch pattern. Go over it 4 or 5 times. You want to let that dry to a haze, and then go ahead and wipe it off by hand. And then you want to let it cure for 24 hours before you introduce it to a wet environment. Put it back on the road.
So in Florida, it's going to be parked for the next week.
So this is basically the same process you'd use to apply most coatings onto car paint.
Okay.
And the whole idea of doing a crosshatch pattern is just you want to have uniform coverage over the entire surface.
So basically, if you did a coating on your car, you can do a coating on your glass.
Yep, and that's how you would polish and prep and then apply a ceramic glass coating.
Man, that was quick. You're like 22 minutes in and done.
You know, this is kind of a short one, but in the real world, in the real world, it's actually really quick too. I mean, it does not take a long time.
For topical.
Yeah, for topical glass polishing. Now, subsurface takes some time. I don't know if you want to walk up and look at the windshield on this Amphicar. It has major wiper marks.
See, there's the propellers.
So
they're the external turbos for water.
So while we're doing that, we'll let that dry to a haze. Let me thank you, Lake Country, by the way, for the amazing swirl finder lights for our detailing classes. Can you see that big wiper mark? Yeah. That sucker starts right here, goes all the way to here. And there's another one on the other side. And there's actually light swirls and scratches.
Yeah, there is.
On the glass. Now, in that live video we did where we machine polished the glass and took the wiper marks out of the 87 Silverado, and that's on Dr. Beasley's YouTube channel. One of the things we talked about was this is a really common problem with older vehicles, and I'll guarantee you this 1964 Amphicar, the owner, A, does not want to take the glass out because he's going to find rust, and then you turn a windshield replacement into a full-on restoration. He doesn't want to do that. He takes this out and shows it at car shows and takes it out on the water. And the other reason is I doubt, and I haven't looked, but to find a factory original windshield to put back in this car.
Ooh, that's going to be hard.
Might be trying to find hen's teeth or a unicorn. So you asked earlier what this car is here for. Well, we have glass polishing, and let's check out the swirl level.
Oh God, I did see that earlier.
Am I holding this
you're
correct
blowing
for you?
me out. It's the color of the car.
There's even swirls on the boat horn.
Is there variable?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Yeah, now we can see them.
This entire car is swirled out.
It's trashed.
It's
trashed.
And then if we come back here and look, here's another thing I teach in my classes is polishing flexible plastic windows clear
Isinglass, vinyl, clear vinyl.
This course has got a vinyl top, and louvers are always a challenge. So it has white wall tires.
Ooh, we have a bunch of things that we could do with that.
Yeah, louvers. You know, I'm probably one of the few guys that have taught classes showing how to hand polish out.
You remember the whale tail Porsche that we did?
The round door. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Had so many louvers on that thing. Okay, so let me go ahead and, this is probably dried to a haze, and then that's all there is to the coating. After it dries to haze, wipe it off, wait 24 hours, and you are done.
Wasn't much of a haze.
No, I didn't see much, but you know, there is a haze there. You just can't see it. It dries clear. Okay, that's the process. I washed this car first thing this morning, so wash the car, polish the glass, install the coating, done.
Wow, look at you. All those years of working with me are finally paying off, Mike. All right, is that where you're going to be? Well, you move your car
I
back
like
just a
standing
little
behind my
bit.
little workstation. I also just a little shout out to the Grit Guard company. I love their little
Scoot it back
carts.
a little bit.
Sure.
Just that way I can get you in frame. There we go, you're good. All right, going back to camera one.
I also wanted to point out that this is our NSP 150, and you can actually use it for topical glass polishing also. The abrasive technology uses nano-sized spheres, and with a pad, in most cases it'll also work to remove topical stains like drizzle stains, water spots, and road film.
Okay, just stay right there for me if you can. Okay. All right, I just got to get a couple things set up. Why don't you talk about your classes?
We just finished the big 3-day class. Really had some cool cars here. There's a car right here you can't really see, but this is a 2014 Mercedes-Benz with the cloth top. So I bring this in to show the correct way to clean a canvas cloth top and how to protect it. Back here in the corner is a 1982 Eagle AMC that we did a previous live video on how to use a ceramic AIO. Then I only did one half the hood. I left it alone. The class had a chance to work on original single stage paint. We had a 1979 Ford step-side shorty, custom base coat clear coat with a ghost flame job. Came out beautiful. We had a 2019 Ford F-150 that we used for extreme prep wash. We used it for wet wash engine detailing. We actually showed how to machine scrub cladding, tires, doing the wheels. The other car we had in here was a 1965 Ford Galaxy that the class hand dry sanded and then machine dry sanded.
Oh, you made them work.
A lot of work. Rotary polishers, and ceramic coated. And one of the cool things is everything came out perfect. And then, of course, Sunday is the boat detailing. But for 2024, just a quick overview of our classes. The first one is a one-day class. So if you don't want to do the 3 days, you want to do the one day, Saturday, January 20th here, Saturday, January 20th, just one day class here. Then right after Mobile Tech Expo, like a weekend later, Friday, Sunday, February 16th, 17th, 18th, a 3-day here. So that's all the paint correction, the sanding of cool cars, and boat detailing. And then in March, we got a class in San Diego. So Dr. Beasley's doing the road show. We're on the move. And then in April, from the 8th to the 12th, we got the Pro Clinic in Chicago, which is a 5-day class. And that's going to be the most intense class you can take. It's going to cover all kinds of things like marketing, PPF, Dr. Color,
a whole bunch of stuff.
Rock chip repair, everything. So.
All right. Well.
And you can find that information up at drbeasleys.com.
Or on the website, and I'm sure that you'll be posting it to all your socials and everything too. Hi guys, guess what?
Raffle prize time.
Raffles. Let's see here. What's the biggest one? We're going to make them wait for that one. Let's go down to the Braun Brush. All right. So just really quickly tell them how people got into this.
Okay, so you had to come by the Braun Brush booth at SEMA. I was there demonstrating and talking about the quality of Braun brushes. I showed them in all my classes. They are, bar none, the best brushes. And here, I tell people all the time, when you first start out detailing cars, one of the main things you're going to do is wash cars. And you need quality brushes that are effective, help you to work fast and get the job done, and they hold up over time. And that's the Braun Brush Company. They make the wheel woolies. So I worked there, and then people that stopped by, they had a chance to sign up for this prize, and they're going to win a Braun Brush collection plus.
I was going to read it all off.
Yeah. Okay. Plus the Dr. Beasley's matching products.
Yeah. What these 3 winners, 3 people are winning this. Okay. You get 1 detailing class with the one and only Mike Phillips.
Wow.
See, that was audience participation. 1 wheel woolly detail brush, 3-piece kit, which this is an amazing. They have the fat middle and the skinny one. That's great for like low pro wheels.
Yep.
1 wheel brush, 9-inch epoxy set, black boar's hair. Is that the black brush?
That's my favorite wheel brush. We show that for engine detailing, interior detailing, and wheels.
Okay. And then the last one is 1 complete wheel and tire detailing prescription. So now you're getting the goods from Dr. Beasley. So, with that being said, drum roll, please. Let's go here. What you want to do is, if you are thinking that you may have won any of these, just watch your email, because Victor's going to be emailing you the winners. That way you get notified. And what else do they get, Mike?
They get that class with me.
All right.
Our big 3-day class. It's the most intense class on planet Earth. There's no chairs, there's no PowerPoint. I bring in the coolest cars, the worst conditioned boats, it's all hands-on, nothing but tools, products, and techniques.
Here, I'll sum that up for you. He's going to put you to work for 3 days, and he's not going to get paid for it. You're going to pay him to make you feel sore every night of the day.
But you learn so much.
But you do learn something. Okay, so now the next one is the Grit Guard prize pack, okay, which there's 3 winners of this, and the total value is $2,344.86. So not cheap.
$2,400 basically.
And like always, you are winning a detailing class with Mike Phillips in Stuart, Florida. 1 Grit Guard Universal Detailing Cart Combo.
That's this right here?
Which I'll show you over there in a minute. Which, if you watch any of his videos, you know that you see him always with that cart. We have 1 premium body wash, 1 premium wheel cleanser, 1 intensive brake dust remover, 1 insect remover, 1 glass cleanser, 1 wheel seal, 1 tire conditioner, 1 plasma coat, and 1 bead hero. What didn't they give you from Dr. Beasley's? I mean, geez. Yeah. All right, so out of those products, what's your favorite one?
Pardon me?
What, out of all those products I just read off, what's your favorite one?
I like the premium wheel cleaner. It's safe on anything.
Okay. All right, so now, with that being said, remember, there's 3 winners, and what is going to be shown is the first part of your email address, and if you think you won or you saw your name on there, stay tuned for an email coming from Victor. So now let's get to the... Okay, you saw those 3 winners come up. So just like I said, just after we're done, watch your email. You might be the winner. All right, so next is the Lake Country Raffle. All right. Oh, wow. This one's $2,378.39. And
wow.
Did you get to play with the new Lake Country polisher while you were over?
I did. I used the polisher, the pad washer, and what else did I play? Some of the new pads. So, yeah.
All right.
Lake Country had a rockin' booth at SEMA.
Okay, so now this one, there's only 1 winner. Okay, so only 1 lucky person gets this. All right, so what? Always, you get the one and only Mike Phillips detailing class here in Stuart, Florida. Hopefully it isn't rainy Florida. You get 1 System 4000 pad washer. You get 1 Lake Country Power Tools backpack, which is a really nice backpack. Yeah, Bob from Flex. Where's my Lake Country backpack? Hint. All right, no, 1 Nano Surface Primer System, 1 NSP Z1, 1 Bead Hero, 1 Plasma Coat, and 1 NSP GL kit. Okay, so now let's go to see who this lucky winner is. All right. All right, Robert N. DeBard, you are the Lake Country winner. Okay, now, it's you. Your tool, the big prize. Do you know what's all in this kit? Or what's in this prize?
I know the primary tool, yes.
Okay.
And then the Dr. Beasley products.
Okay, well, here, I'll save you. Okay. Because I have the magic sheet right here. All right, we get the we, as in I won it. 1 lucky winner gets this prize pack worth $3,011.93. All right, it's not your little prize pack; it's a big prize pack. All right, you get 1 detailing class with Mike Phillips here in rainy, soggy Stuart, Florida, right now. 1 special edition. They get this. They get that.
Yeah, they get the RIB.
Oh, wow. All right, you guys get the really fancy, what do you call it, 3401 Special Edition Flex Beast buffing machine. If you haven't seen that, that's the one with the red beast inside.
So it's the RBI, but that's not runner batted in. That's red beast inside.
Yeah, runner batted in. Okay, then you get 1 Nano Surface Primer System. You get 1 NSP Z1. Then you got to have pads for your tool, right? So you get 1 HDO orange pad, 1 HDO blue pad, 1 micro wool pad, 1 nano resin pro kit, and 1 bead hero. I mean, come on, Mike, that's pretty impressive.
That's almost everything you need to detail a car except for wash it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, let's just see here. How do I get my name up on here, Victor? Did you rig this so it's my name? I don't think you did, but let's find out if you're the lucky winner. You ready? Set. All right, N-Foy0909. You, my man, or lady, or person, or toaster, I don't know. You are the lucky person. All right, so wow, that was, all right, I'm speechless. I'm giving it back to you. That was a lot.
8 winners, yeah, that's some.
I mean, that's
prizes.
3, 5. That's like over $10,000 you guys just gave away.
Now, the classes, our classes out here, our 3-day classes are $17.95. I think it's retail, so it's $1,800. You have to get out here on your own, get your own hotel, meals on the road. But the class, you won that prize. And these, in my opinion, I've been teaching these for over 20 years. The most hands-on classes. And Yancey, you've been helping with these classes for years. I bring in the coolest cars for you to train on. And I
have those four-door Civics that you get in here. They're just amazing.
No, I bring in some cool stuff. The real deal, what I call the real deal. I have daily drivers, but also some really cool stuff. And when it comes to the boat side, I always, I think some people might think this is weird when I say I bring in boats in horrible condition. But there's a reason for that. The worse the condition the boat, the more things I can teach you that you can take back to your world. If I brought in a new boat, I could show you how to use a spray-on SiO2 or a spray-on carnauba wax. There's just nothing to do to it. So I bring in boats that are dark in color, in really bad shape, so I can show you the most things. Then the idea being, when you go back to your world, you make that judgment call as to how many of the steps you need to do. But if I brought in a boat in good shape, I just couldn't teach you all these things. So that's why I always say I bring in a boat in horrible condition. In big boats, the last boat we had here just this last Sunday was a 23-foot Sportsman black that turned white with oxidation. But the thing about that is when you're training, you can stand and work on the boat. I've seen boat classes where they bring in flats boats. You're all hunched over, working on a tiny little side hull. So I want you to have a good experience. So that's why I pick and choose very carefully the boats I bring in for the training. And if you're listening to this, think, well, I don't detail boats. Keep in mind, if you detail somebody's car and you do a good job and they have a boat, that's the next thing they're going to ask you. Hey, can you do my boat? And if you're a boat detailer and you do a good job on someone's boat, the next question they're going to ask you is, hey, can you detail my car? So see, they go both ways. So, and a lot of the techniques I teach on cars apply to boats, and a lot of the techniques I teach on boats apply to cars. So it's very good cross-training.
Okay, speed round. We have 20 minutes before this is an hour. That's what we've been averaging at. So we're going to do a speed round.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Speed. Okay.
Say right there, you understand what speed round is.
Yeah, quick answers.
Okay, there we go. All right, so first up, I'm going to show Director of Success coming in here. Good day, friends. We have Sam Dez coming in here. Hello, gentlemen, from Long Island, New York. And where was that other one? We have another Sling Suds Auto Detail. That's an awesome name. From Eugene, Oregon.
Old stomping grounds.
All right. Then we have Humberto ready to roll coming in here. Then we have my guy Kirby's, and first as always is, what do you call it? Humberto. But hey, let's get into the questions. I just had one. Okay, well, actually, this isn't a question. My guy Kirby, easy answer for water sports, park indoors. All right, we have Steve coming in here. Can you also touch on water spot removal or matte paint?
Yeah, that's a tough one. During the class, I had someone from the UK email me asking about how to get water spots off of uncoated carbon fiber body panels, and that's just a tough one. The more delicate the surface, the more difficult it is to work on without affecting the appearance. So the best thing you could do is try something like the Dr. Beasley's water spot remover and see if that works. There's a lot of other water spot removers on the market, but basically you're going to try to chemically clean this, but you need something safe that won't alter the effect. That's a tough one. And I'll tell you something, the matte finish, whether it's matte paint, matte wraps, it looks so cool. But just when you take one of those types of vehicles on, just understand it's not like car paint that can be polished. It brings a new dynamic to it.
Okay. Then we have Kyle Camus coming in here. Hello, gentlemen. Then our buddy from north of the border, we have Michael O'Neill. Hi, Mike and Yancey. And Michael, yeah, no, that Charger hood, no bueno for me. But anyways, that's inside between him and I. Let's go back. Okay, this was a great question because I don't think you covered it. What model of Flex Polisher are you using when doing the first demonstration on the windshield?
Oh, this is the Flex Cordless PE 150. And we use this in all our classes for our primary rotary. And that includes for the car detailing and the boat detailing. So, for example, this last class, the boat detailing, we machine wet sanded with 1,000, 2,000, dry sanded with 2,500, and then through wool pads on the cordless PE14 and cut out our sanding marks. And it has more than enough power to pull out those types of sanding marks. And on the car, the 1965 Ford Galaxy, we hand sanded with 1,500 by Eagle abrasives. Then we machine sanded to refine those to 2,500 using Eagle abrasives and the Flex cordless DA sander. And then we pulled all the sanding marks out using the Flex cordless PE it's called the Flex cordless PE 150.
Okay,
a lot of times I call it the PE14, but that's the corded version. We have those too, but this that has the power and the freedom of not needing a cord is just, and this is like one of my favorite tools. You know, in this last class, Yancey, the first class the first car the class detailed was a black, isn't that the hardest color to detail? Was a black 1937 Ford two-door sedan street rod that whoever built, this is a high-end build. It has a stainless steel frame. I've never even heard of that before. But this thing, we took the...
so much for speed round?
We took the Lake Country Stroll Finder lights and went around and marked all the sanding marks the other guy left behind, took them out with the cordless PE 150.
Okay, now Sam
And it's P150.
Sam Des was wanting a close-up of all the products that we used in this. So there's all the products. Grab your screenshot. There's everything that we used. Okay. And let me get back over here. Sorry for moving you guys around. Hold on, I got to reset. Okay. So now we have Rick Smith coming in here. Hello, everyone. Michael. Raffle time. Oh, that isn't fair. Michael O'Neill, I'm down in a condo in Playa del Carmen. I believe me is not. There's a detailing shop across the street. Imagine that. Oh, we have Chris Metcalf in here. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris. I'd like to thank Chris for supporting all our detail classes. We show a lot of different brands of tools. I let the students decide what they like, but Flex is the one that we go to get the job done fast, get it done right.
And he comes on here, Mr. Metcalf, great guy. He says, I will also send the winner of this brush a new Flex drill to use it on.
Ooh,
cool. Look at that. He's adding to the pot. All right, we posted it up, but I'm going to post it again. Congrats to Jared Horton, Ducky Blade 1, and Miranda Band, I think I'm saying your thing right, 0402 for the winner of the Braun brushes. Okay. Then we have for the second winners, we have congrats to Gearball 07, Precise Detailing 85, and Steve Patsy for winning the Grit Guard system. Okay. So if you're seeing your first part of your email up on screen right now, you are the lucky winner.
That makes it kind of tricky. You just can't call out Steve Smith.
Well, yeah, this way you
but you entered by entering your email address.
All right, so now we have the Lake Country Raffle. Robert N. DeBard for winning our Lake Country Manufacturing. Okay, that was that one. And the Flex one. Oh, there it is. Congrats to nfoy0909. All right, so those are the winners of it. But let me go back to, there's a really good question in here. We have Boris Moreno. Can I use Z1 to polish a car with ceramic coating?
Yeah, but you'll take the coating off.
There you go.
Once you ceramic coat a car, you really don't want to abrade it with anything. And always put things in extremes. Here's what I mean by that. If you have a ceramic coated car and you abrade it with any brand of polish, are you adding more coating? The answer is no. And what's the opposite of the word adding? Subtracting. So the best thing to do is wash often, wash careful. Inspect your wash mitt, your drying towel, and all your wiping towels. Keep those clean and uncontaminated. Good question.
Okay. Here's another one. Shiny fenders. Love your name. Can heat damage or crack glass?
I never have in the last, I think the first time I did glass polishing would go back to Oregon, so that'd be in the 1980s. So never cracked glass on anything. And you and me went out to a wrecking yard and sanded some glass down with 400 grit and buffed it out and didn't crack it.
Yep.
And there's a write-up on the Dr. Beasley's blog, so drbeasley.com, find the blog, and you'll see where I machine sanded the back window of a 1970 Superbird that was filled full of scratches, starting with 180 grit, finished out at 4,000, polished it out, looked flawless, went into that car. That's a two-owner, about a $2 million 1970 Plymouth Superbird.
Okay.
No cracks.
Chris, are you messing with Mike here? Because this question, oh wow, I'm like all blurry. Going back to you. Goes Chris Metcalf, how long have you been using flex polishers and why is Chevron a leader in battery operated tools?
Well, the second part of that question is Chevron owns their own proprietary battery technology. So over there in the corner, I got the Ego 650 leaf blower, which I use to dry cars, clean out the shop, dry everything out, blow out the engine compartment. Awesome tool, battery is forever. And Flex is able to borrow, because Chevron owns both Flex and Ego, borrow that technology, so they own that technology in their tools. And I would have to say that I started using Flex tools when the Beast was originally introduced, and I think that was 2008, the XC3401 VRG, aka the Beast.
You still have your original one?
I do not have my original one. It's been long
I have mine.
gone. Yeah,
I have mine.
I do have an RBI, Red Beast inside. It's number 66, given to me by the president of Flex when we were at Auto Mechanic in Germany last summer.
All right, here's actually a very good question. Let's go. Rick Smith. Yes, Rick Smith. Every one of these products you should use and try because they're amazing products. So get your cart ready and just order them all. But no, I've never used a Dr. Beasley's polish. What polish should I try first for all-around polishing?
I'd go with the NSP 150. It works great on hard paint, soft paints. It's a great all-around product. The one thing you got to learn when you're switching over to the NSP line is, unlike conventional compounds, polishes, and AIOs, is this uses a different type of technology, the abrasive technology, also different carrying agents, a nanogel. So basically, you use half as much and buff twice as long. And it works with pretty much any kind of polisher. I mean, the class we just had, we used it with gear-driven orbitals, free spring orbitals, rotary polishers. So very versatile. But the NSP 150 would be a good one to start with.
Okay, and we have Kirby coming in here. For those that ask, I had the glass coating last for about 18 months so far. So that's a good testimony of how long you guys
have. And Kirby lives down in Texas. That's a harsh environment, like South Florida.
Okay, then let's go to MJ Auto Detailing. Mike, what type of pad do you recommend to use on a DA with NSP Z1 for a one-step and for a finish step after a compound step?
Hey, good question. So usually whenever you're using an AIO, and that's anybody's brand, you want to stick right in that sweet spot in the center, foam polishing pad. I see advice given out all the time where people say to use a fiber pad or a foam cutting pad. And you can get away with this because you'll get better correction with an all-in-one like Z1 if the paint is hard. But if the paint is soft, the pad itself can leave patterns, or what I call shadow patterns in the paint, and it's micro-marring. So you got to always do what's called a test spot, and that'll tell you if the paint is hard or soft. And if it's soft, then you want to try to finish out with a foam polishing pad, maybe a finishing pad if it's super soft. And only if it's hard can you really jump up to the foam cutting pads. And you would never catch me finishing out with a with a fiber pad on paint, just because every one of these fibers is a form of abrasive, and as it's spinning or oscillating its paint, it's cutting the paint so it leaves micromarring. Sure, can it be done? Yeah, but why risk it? But
all right. Well, doesn't that go back to, anyways, you always want to use least aggressive approach first, then work up that way?
The least aggressive process to get the job done. And the idea being is that way you get the results you want, but you leave the most paint on the car. Okay. A lot of people leave that second part out, leaving the most paint on the car, but it ties the whole thing together so your brain can wrap around the concept.
Okay, we have about 2 more minutes here. Let's go about this. We have Sling Suds Auto Detailing. Were you the guy that thought the 5-5-5 method back in the days? Thank you so much for that big tip. You getting all choked up?
I'm getting choked up. If there was a 5-5-5 technique, I'm going to have to take a pass on that because it isn't ringing a bell, but you got to remember I'm getting old. Maybe I just forgot. There's so many articles and videos I've made and cars I've detailed that I absolutely have completely forgotten until something comes along and jogs my memory.
What would the 5-5-5 be anyways?
I don't know. I know the 10-10.
Yeah. All right. Let's go here. Oh, here's Sam Des coming back on. How would you remove water spots on chrome? What is the process and what products does Dr. Beasley's have?
Well, Dr. Beasley's has a water spot remover, which is a way to chemically remove mineral deposits. But a lot of times on chrome, what you're going to have is some sort of film water spot, just like I showed on the glass and on the paint here. And in that case with chrome, one of the things you got to be careful of is you want to use something that won't scratch the chrome. Recently, I've had really good luck using the Dr. Beasley's Z1. And the abrasive technology used in there is a combination of the NSP45 and the NSP95. So there's kind of a blend of the NSPs for the abrasive side, and then there's a ceramic component in there. But using a foam polishing pad on the Beast, I run over chrome all the time. In fact, well, this car doesn't really have a lot of chrome. It's funny. This car has a.
Oh, here
it has
white propellers.
Well, it has white propellers. No, but it's got the trim that boats. I can't even think of it. The trim that boats have. So
bumper rail.
Yeah, bumper rail. So it bumps up against the dock. It won't scratch.
So it has rubber.
But most of the a lot of cars I detail. I got a '57 Pontiac come. It's got big chrome fenders on it, and I'll use the Z1 foam polishing pad on the Beast to knock it out. And you know what's funny is I've buffed out a lot of classic cars. I don't even try. They just come to me. And the chrome looks good, and when you polish it and turn the pad over, you see like a black scunge on there, and it's really not oxidation. It might be a little bit of tarnish, but it's usually just a film of road film on the chrome. And as soon as you polish it out, it brightens it up. It completes the look of the car.
Okay.
But make sure you don't put scratches in. You know, for decades I've had people say, "Hey, I can get scratches out of chrome. I got a chrome polish." I've never seen anybody prove it. Okay, they say it, but they never prove it. And the reason why is because chrome is very soft, and the way you remove a scratch is you abrade the surface to level it with the lowest depth of the scratch. And anything that scratches chrome to abrade it is going to leave its own scratch. So not only do I not believe it, but no one's ever shown me a chrome polish that takes scratches out and leaves a chrome-like finish behind. So be careful there.
Be careful. All right, last question that we're going to have. Okay. Actually, somebody came on MJ Auto Detailing. I think the 5 pounds pressure, 5 seconds, speed on 5 on DA method came from Ivan LaCroix. I have no idea.
Nah, I don't think that was me. I'd be on 6. Yeah.
Right.
And I did write an article years ago where I took and put a Porter cable, because back then that was one of the only tools we had. Bigfoots weren't existing. I don't think the Flex 34 was around. This would be back in the early 2000s. But what I did is I took a Porter cable and I took my bathroom scale, I covered it with some clear plastic, and I went out and actually pushed on it because people kept asking me how much downward pressure to put down. And I showed 5, 10, and 20 pounds. And I said, usually if you're going to be doing paint correction with a 8mm free spinning random orbital polisher, that's the Porter cable, you're going to be 15 pounds of downward pressure as long as you can maintain pad rotation. Because I wrote that article a long time ago. You can still find it on the McGuire's forum.
Okay.
But I wrote that because there was a company that actually had a video out at the time, and they said just use the pressure of the polisher, and I thought, really? Because that's not going to remove swirls and scratches. So that's why I wrote that article, is to correct misinformation.
Okay, so now the very last question. This is the last question. Rick Smith coming in. What is the best corded rotary to start with? I have experience, just haven't used one in years.
I'm going with the PE14 all day long. I still have the number 2 ever built, and it has seen more cars. It's actually seen a lot of cars, but the polisher that's seen the most is I have the prototype PE 150. So I have the prototype for this cordless, and I made the mistake of not keeping a list of every car and boat I've buffed out with that tool. And I would have expected it to completely wear out by now, and it's still going strong. But I would go with the PE 14, corded PE 14. Smooth, quiet. You know, the gears are precision machines, so they mesh very quietly. That's why it runs cooler. It's quieter. It's lighter, very smooth, powerful. And you'll never regret. You know, there's an old saying when it comes to buying quality tools versus inexpensive tools. It goes like this: buy once, cry once. You never regret buying quality. Quality never costs money. It makes money.
Well, quality isn't cheap, and cheap isn't quality. That's what I always tell people, especially in artwork and tattoos. All right, so yeah, now I think, Jim, you need to change this to say we're gone boating, and we can just put it on the car, and we can jump into that car and take off.
These are cool little door hangers you can get at Dr. Beasley. So every car I detail, I make sure I hang one on the mirror so the owner knows. The thing is, you got to remember, most people, like this Mercedes-Benz over here, this car here, they go into the dealership to get their oil change and service, and of course the dealership runs it through the car wash. And so if you don't say, hey, don't wash my ceramic coated car, it's going through the car wash. They're going to scratch the coating, they're going to scratch the paint, you're going to be mad, and there's usually no remedy except for paying someone to do it over again. You can't trust the dealership to do it right the second time.
Okay. All right, so I hope that you guys learned a little bit. I mean, this is something that isn't hard to do. It's something that, you know, you're probably going to have to do at least once a year because that stuff builds up no matter how meticulous you keep your glass.
Especially if you live where it rains. If you drive where it rains, you're always getting that, especially on the car. Now, if you live in Southern California where it hardly ever rains, you still get air pollution, industrial fallout, and you still get a film on the glass. So it's a good idea to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, what are we doing next week?
Well, we have
we're
this
doing
car
that.
here, and we're going to
that.
do something to the 1964 Amphicar.
Maybe we can do it remote. Do we have like Starlink yet? So that way we can just like, we can be in the middle of Lake Okeechobee. We could be floating
using
around.
cordless polisher.
Exactly, showing you how to detail your art while you're on the water.
Well, it'll either be paint polishing, glass polishing, or clear plastic, flexible clear plastic window polishing.
All right, stay tuned to their socials. They will get you the information on what next week's class will be. And are we doing one? Because that's the day before Thanksgiving.
We're scheduled to do one.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Yep.
Let's check. No, I'm just joking. No, so we'll see you next week. And like always, tune in every time. Same channel, same everything. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends.
If you got something you want to see, put it in the comments.
Please, because, you know, we have ideas, but our ideas might not be what the majority of you guys want to see or what issues that you guys are having. I'd like to see how Dr. Beasley fixes that for you. So that's what we're trying to do, is get your input so we can do stuff, and then we're all happy, right?
One thing I like about Dr. Beasley is they're all about solving problems and education.
All right, so the problem that needs to be solved is Mike Phillips. He goes long rants about things, and he doesn't know short, round answers.
I'm going to put this on jet.
Hey, no, all right.
How much is